Welcome everyone to Inside Star Citizen. I'm your host, Jared Huckabee. Now each week, we'll invite you to come inside our studios and join our developers as they share their latest work bringing the Star Citizen universe to life, with interviews about specific features, demos of the latest game systems that are currently in development, and semi-regular updates on sprint progress from teams around the world. Now to get things started for us this week, let's check in with Simon and Daniel as they share with us their work on a new lighting model for particles that's both better looking and less resource intensive. Kind of like me. Let's check it out.
Today we're going to talk about the new lighting system for GPU particle system called decoupled lighting. It's part of our ongoing process of essentially replacing the old CPU particle system with this new GPU particle system.
The difference between the old particle system and the new particle system is that now we have implemented some new features which allows us to focus much more on the visual quality of the particles than on the performance.
Like it started off at the beginning of this year on the GPU particles, each particle had its one single sample of lighting. For example, in shadows, the whole particle were either in shadow or not in shadows. Now the method we based it on is a technique invented by ID Tech, and we took that technique and we also pushed it further. You can see very nice shadows.
On the old system, if we wanted to use shadows, then we had a huge impact on the performance. So with the new one, there is no worries about the performance, but only to focus on the quality aspect of the particles. Lighting means that we can borrow color from the sun, from the environment, also from the cube maps, and then this will translate actually in making the particles, the assets, belong to this environment or to this planet.
So the way it will improve the player experience, because it benefits the performance, so that means that you will be running at better frame rate, because we have control how the resolution, overall total resolution of the Atlas, that sort of defines the worst case. So we get more controllable performance, better performance. The lighting will be much better, so it looks better and better performance, basically, better frame rate.
And I don't like it.
Punch it. You want to punch it up real quick?
No, I don't like this nearly as much as Sean Tracy does. I'm convinced the only reason we ever got Sean Tracy to do HEV was because of this. This is ISC Los Angeles. Soon there's going to be ISC Miami and ISC Special Victims Unit.
Just sit here in the chair while he works. Okay, huh?
Spaceships, more than just a means of getting from A to B. They're a great way to make your mark in the persistent universe. And members of our ship teams work to bring additional vehicles to life in every major patch, including the upcoming Alpha 3.6. Now, it might be a bit early for this, but we thought it'd be cool if we took a look inside the insides of the upcoming Vanguard series of variants with our ship team's very own Joe Neville.
So the objective of this exercise has been to redevelop and incorporate components into the Vanguard. First room behind the cockpit is now going to be the component room. Behind every wall, you're going to have various things like coolers, shields, power plants. Under the stairs here we have a radar. After working on the component room, it was the task to redevelop the modular interior of the ship. So this is the new Warden interior. You're going to have your little service station here that you can interact with the ship with. Again, this has components in this slot here. We've redesigned the bathroom and all of the storage around there. And then across here we've got a new gantry. Next to these things here we have the gun racks where you can store all your weapons in. And then on the other side we also have a space for a locker where you can put all your clothes and things. The objective with this middle room here was to build a framework where we could build a modular pod, in the sense that when you buy a Vanguard, the cockpit, the component room and the rear room are all going to be the same. Basically, whenever you buy a variant for the ship, you'll be able to change out this middle section here. I've also been working on the Harbinger variant, and the Harbinger variant is the torpedo ship. And then here again, you've got space for crew. You have a bathroom, and a gantry here with weapons locker next to it. And then inside this one here, we also have a big torpedo bay, so that whenever the pilot is deploying the torpedoes, you'll be able to see these torpedoes get loaded down and deployed. And then we've also redeveloped the hoplite variant, which is introducing more space for storing weapons away. So you have almost like an armory at the side here where you can put all your assault rifles and shotguns and all kinds of cool stuff. And then also space for introducing heavy weapons too. So you can really kit this area out and be able to turn it into quite a versatile arsenal workshop. Yeah, so the objective of this exercise has been to make a modular vanguard which allows developers to build variants a lot more rapidly in the future. And also it gives the end user a much more versatile and richer experience.
Telemetry. Now, Webster's dictionary defines telemetry as the... Hey, Dave.
What's up, man? What's going on?
We're shooting the shuttle. Can I help you?
Shoot. What show? Here?
Yeah, we don't want to do it on the stage anymore. We want to be inside development and everything.
Oh, cool. That's cool, yeah. Cool. So are you like hosting it now?
Yeah, you know, everybody's busy. We figured I do this and it frees you guys up to focus on
Like work?
actually making Star Citizen, you know?
Yeah, totally. It's cool. It's really cool.
All right, so go to work. Let's go now to Keegan Standifer, who can tell us about a recent update to the telemetry page, currently available on robertspaceindustries.com.
Hey.
We recently published an update to this dashboard that includes a few new features and some additional filters that you can look at the data with. This allows you to drill down on the heat map to see all of the data that we display and divide it not only by the different resolutions that people are running, as well as the different versions of the game that we've published in the past. Additionally, we added some statistics about loading times for our game. The loading times that we're displaying not only track your average loading times, as well as you can take a look at the community's average loading times, divided not only by the different versions of the game, so you can see how loading times change as we publish new versions, but you can also take a look at what percentage of the community uses SSD versus HDD and how that affects their loading times as well. Another thing that we've added to the public telemetry dashboard is the ability to see your average ping compared to the average ping of the community. So you can see generally where you lie along the lines of the average player for your connectivity. And finally, we've also added data about the stability of our different game versions. This is shown via the stability score, which contains a tooltip that you'll be able to read more information about how this stability score is generated. With all of these new data points added to our public telemetry dashboard, it means you have an increased number of metrics to really dig into how your gameplay performance relates to that of other players and how it's changed over the lifetime of the different versions we've published in Star Citizen. And just like us as developers, we know too that our fan base is very data-driven as well and loves to digest all of the very specific details. So that's why we want to provide all this data to you.
Each quarter, Inside Star Citizen will focus on the patch currently in development. But occasionally, sometimes, if the stars align and things work out the way we hope, we can take a look ahead at something that's a bit farther down the line, like we get to do this week. So let's go now to Robin from the Environment Art team, who's been working on additional look dev for Orison, the first landing zone for the planet Crusader.
Hot city.
Orison is quite a unique location. It's the second planet in the Stanton universe. It is owned by Crusader Industries. They have created this giant shipyard. It's quite high up into the clouds that exists out of a network of floating platforms. The main function of the location is generally to create the big commercial airliners from Crusader Industries. It's floating in the air because of the unique properties of the planet. It really gets you those nice sunset, sunrise colors and feeling. Everything floats by itself, so instead of making it in space, which would require spacesuits, it's like an ideal place to actually do something like this. The key features are mainly, of course, the ship wharf itself. It exists out of like refineries, dry docks, or like flying dry docks, of course. Housing for the people themselves to get that utopian feeling of parks and like a lot of green, a lot of trees. And then there's, of course, also the flying hub for the transport, because everything is being transported with trains. So we're trying to hone down the key functions that we need for this environment. I think it's going to look quite amazing with some very interesting views, looking out over the horizon, like sun setting, that kind of stuff. Looking down, seeing this big gas giant, looking like around you, you'll see these big platforms, creating ships, buzzing transport, that kind of stuff. Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty cool.
Last week, Alpha 3.5 completed its journey through the Evocati and PTU test phases on its way to publish on our live environment. To discuss how that went, and because we'll take every opportunity to have these two on the show that we get, let's welcome Chris Roberts and Sandy Gardner to the show. Chris, Sandy?
Hi. Hi, Jared. How are you?
I'm well, but you have to tell me what's going on here. What are these shirts?
Yes. Thank you to our Aussie fans who organized the Crux Cup.
Yep.
Yep.
And sent us some Tim Tams and Maltesers, which were enjoyed by the office here, as well as Sandy.
As well as myself.
And my
Thank
two
you
girls.
very much.
All right, so we got a few minutes with you. I want to ask, 3.5 just made its way to live. How'd that go?
Well, many brave bugs died to bring us the release, and we appreciate their sacrifice. Many cups of coffee were drunk, and a lot of late night hours were burned by the team and the testers, all the community out there working really hard. So last few days, the game's pretty stable. People are having some fun, and a lot of the missions are now starting to work well, which is good. So it's nice. I really like watching all the videos everyone's making and the stories of the various things they're up to. It's great.
There's been some whispers of a revamp to the subscriber program coming up. Anything we are ready to share just yet?
Whispers.
Maybe?
Wow, whispers. Yes, I mean, as more of the game comes online, which 3.5 is, you know, we're getting somewhere, then we're going to revamp and gear it a little bit more in that direction.
A bit more better balance to in-game stuff to sort of out of the jump point or whatever. Just you need to revise these things as things change. And when we start about putting things into the game, that has to be
I love how he takes
sorted
over
out.
my question.
Okay,
too.
well, I'm just saying.
It's like,
Yeah, I added. You asked. You added. You threw it to
you know.
me.
It's all right,
You threw it
watch
to me,
this.
and
I
it went.
get it. It's because I'm not doing enough hand movement that he just feels
Well, watch
left
this.
out.
His time is over, and it's my time now. So so you guys just take off, and I'll see you.
Okay.
We'll check in with you later.
Thanks, Jared.
All right,
We will
bye,
see
Jared.
you- No, we will see you.
We'll see you when? We'll see you.
Oh,
We're not there yet.
Oh, we're not there
We're
yet.
not there yet.
All
That's
right. We'll see you later.
So what have we learned today? We learned that you can make particles look better while costing less. The interior, the Vanguard variants, have so much more room for activities. Telemetry is great until you see that everybody else's computer is just a little bit better than yours. And we're not so far away from the day that our characters can live amongst the clouds. Now, if you enjoyed this week's show, you can thank our subscribers for making each and every one possible. And if you didn't like the show, my name is Mike Kinshella, and we'll be back next week. Until next time, we'll see you
In Star Citizen.
inside.
Star Citizen.
No, oh, yeah, inside Star Citizen.
We're working on it. It's a work in progress.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. For the latest and greatest in Star Citizen and Squadron 42, you can subscribe to our channel, or you can check out some of the other shows, and you can also head to our website at www.robertsspaceindustries.com. Thank you very much for watching.